If you guys want to buy real estate, then you've probably heard that a lot of real estate investors are doing the business by buying 10, 20, 30, hundreds of houses without any credit. And yes, that is true. But over time, I've learned that even though I can do deals by buying property without having to qualify for a loan, having good credit is another tool in the chess box. See, when I was buying houses with no credit, typically I'm buying them seller finance, where the seller would have no debt owned on the property and they would be willing to take their profits in payment, or another seller who would be willing to give me over a mortgage. But that would limit me to the deals that I would need to buy in cash, where I would have to come in with a hard money loan or private money loan and then be able to refinance out of it. I would be limited to not being able to do those and only to the first two. Now, so today I wanted to share with you why you should kind of rethink this. Not saying, hey, well, I can't do none of the no credit deals. I'm just saying that let's think about credit as a tool in your chest box that you can utilize in order to scale your real estate portfolio. Whether you want to own more rental properties so you can get, monthly recurring revenue, or whether you want to, increase your rehab business, you want to put more houses together, you want to do better renovations, you want to do better finishes, so that way you can make more money on your flips, or whether you just want to do more Airbnbs and group homes. Today, we're going to talk about where you can use your credit in real estate investing, and then also how you can increase your credit and maintain your credit over time. So that way we can grow our average deal size. Because realistically, when I was only focused on no credit deals, my average deal size was about $6,000 to $7,000. But now that I'm okay with using my credit because I've increased it and maintained it, now my average deal size is between $25,000 and $27,000 per deal. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action right here on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe, because today we got another real estate banger for you. Now, if you guys go to my website, you'll be able to download the free purchase agreement that I've used to lock up hundreds of houses, build up my rental portfolio, and build up my flip operation, so that way I can make over $500,000 a year. Now, I only bring you videos like this to help educate and inspire you to do the same thing, because realistically, where you want to go in life, owning property, big profits, your dream life, travel, family, all those things, is controlled by how much time you can buy. And realistically, if you're not out making money, you won't be able to buy back the time that you need so you can spend more time in church with your family and doing the things that you ultimately love to do. All right, so today let's talk about this credit thing. Now, when I first started real estate investing, I did not have big boy credit. Okay, my first house I purchased, I had a 610 credit score, and I used an FHA loan. My second one, I did the exact same thing. But my third house, when I purchased it, I could not use my credit because it wasn't up to par to use one of those FHA low money down, kind of loans. I had to not buy the property and wholesale it. So now wholesaling became my way to buy property and get paid $5,000 to $10,000 real quick on. Now this became almost like an addiction to me, because instead of me having to bring $6,000, $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 to the table, I would leave the closing table with $5,000 to $7,000 on average. And now I could do this one time a week, 2 times a week, or however often I was willing to work in order to get those profits. So when you're eating these checks like this, it becomes almost like an addiction. You just have to do these no money down deals, because you eat and you eat and you eat, and you can start to eat really good. Now, the only thing about doing deals like this, you're getting paid greatly, but you don't end up with the property. Wholesaling is a buying as is and a selling as is kind of formula that leaves you with some of the money on the table with no responsibility. Great for getting in the game. I'm not knocking it at all. I love doing it. But as you get mature in the business, you'll want to do less deals. So not 15 or 20 deals a month. You'll want to do 5 or 6 and still be able to break out that $80,000 to $100,000. or you'll get, older, your knees will start to ache, or you just want to enjoy your family a little bit. So you'll want to make that monthly, recurring revenue, like rental property or Airbnb property, so you can kind of, sit back and relax. Okay. So you'll need to get your credit involved. Now, hey, wherever you are in business, don't take this the wrong way. You can do it. Whether you have bad credit or not, you can do the real estate business. But as you start to get into business, it will behoove you. Take my advice. It will behoove you to start using some of those profits to repair your credit, pay off some of those things that need to be paid off. Know which cars are right for you to buy. Know which cars is right for you to hold on to. Know the credit language so you can continue to grow your credit, and then you'll have more access to capital, which means you'll be open to more opportunities, which means that your accounts will have more deposits. First is, where am I using my credit? Where am I using my credit to do these deals? The biggest one is I'm using my credit on BRRRR deals. Okay, BRRRR is to buy property, that needs to, be fixed up, to renovate that property. It needs to be fixed up in a way to where you're adding value to it, rent that property out. So that way now the rent is covering your mortgage on that property, 125%. Okay. And then once you collecting that, you've added the value. So now it's in pretty condition. You rented it out. Now you'll be able to the house will be able to qualify for its own loan. Now what they don't tell you, even though you have this house with this great amount of equity and this great cash flow, is they still want to see you having some kind of decent credit. They want to see that you have, some kind of savings in your account, that your business has been making some kind of money, and most importantly, that you have the last 2 years of taxes and a decent credit score. Now, decent could be 640. Okay, so I'm not saying it has to, go up to 750, but the higher and well-maintained and well-built out your credit portfolio is, easier it is to get these kind of loans, and also the better relationships you can build within that. Most of the time, these lenders, who do DSCR loans, are going to come from a mortgage broker or from your local banks. They want to see you have a 680 or above, a 680 with a longer term personal note. So that might be a car, or a personal line of credit. They want to see you having 3 credit cards, so with at least, $1,000, credit lines. So if you got a $500, Capital One credit card, do your best to, get that balance low, so that way you can submit a request to increase your credit. Increase your credit limit. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to decrease your utilization, but increase the amount available, which is going to overall make your credit portfolio look better, but also make it look like to your lender that you are a responsible buyer. Okay. You're a responsible consumer. When you're able to qualify for a DSCR loan, so you can get these BRRRR deals, what you're going to be able to do is buy property in cash. Okay. So you can refinance out of that cash and keep rental property, but you're going to get paid more money. This is how it works. So the first way you're going to get paid off a BRRRR deal is by assigning the property to yourself. So you're going to buy the property in one entity name. It could be your personal name, or it could be an LLC name. And then you're going to assign it to one of your other LLC. That assignment fee is paid by the loan that you're going to get from your private money person or your hard money person. So that way you get paid to buy. Now, sometimes you might have to use that you might have to use that fee that you get paid from your loan as a down payment or towards your closing costs, like origination or attorney fees. But that way you're no money in the deal at that point. So you've got paid to buy a house. The next way you're going to get paid on a BRRRR property deal is when you go to rent the property out, and now that rent starts covering your mortgage. And then you're going to get paid a third time when you go to do a cash out refi. Now, the most important part about getting that last check is to make sure when on the original buy that your purchase, your rehab, taxes and insurance, and your holding costs is less than 75% loan to value. So let's say you end up getting all of your numbers to work at 70%, loan to value, or 70% of ARV. Now that 5% that's left is going to be your cash out at closing on your refi. And honestly, if you didn't have good credit, if you wasn't maintaining your credit profile, if you wasn't building it out, you wouldn't be able to draw out 3 checks from one deal. You would have had to wholesale it and only get the first check. You see how this is going to build this out for you? The next way I like to build out or the reasons why I like to build out my credit profile in real estate investing and use my credit is because then it'll be easier to access capital to finish out projects. Now, after doing over 100 rehabs, so like full rehab. So I'm buying the property, I'm owning it, I'm rehabbing it, floors, cabinets, drawers, subfloors, tile, roofs, septic tanks, wells, all that good stuff. I'm rehabbing the property. Most of the time, if not all the time, I am over my budget. And that's because of supply chain issues, because in these houses, you always have things that pop up that are contingencies that you didn't know was going to pop up before in your original estimates. You're almost always over budget. Sometimes it's by a couple $100, sometimes it's by $10,000. And in those cases, you need to have your own money or at least access to money. Now, the way you can get access is, of course, through lines of credit. And if you have good credit, you will be able to leverage your personal credit in order to get you business funding. Okay. Companies like American Express, Chase, Capital One, Home Depot, Lowe's, all of these companies love working with businesses because they know at the end of the day, they're using lines of credit in order to borrow against so they can make money. So they almost have a guaranteed way to pay them back. So because I'm able to leverage my credit, I get big boy credit cards, $20,000 lines of credit. The first time I got an American Express card, they gave me $40,000 on a line of credit. So realistically, that covers a whole rehab. So honestly, if I wanted to just get a private money note on the purchase, I could have just used my Amex card for the full entire rehab and been good to go. But most of the time, I'm using my lines of credit to cover me whenever I am outside of my boundary as far as my rehab budget. So all of you guys are calling me saying, hey, I own this house, but I just need to figure out how to get money to fix it up. That's one of the ways I'm leveraging my personal credit in order to get business lines of credit, so that way I can fix up these houses. My third way I'm using credit in real estate investing is with private money. Believe it or not, some people are so savvy. Some of these people who are willing to sell a finance, some of these people who are willing to lend $1 million, $2 million, $10 million to you want to see your credit, even though it is private money. I have one of my best friends now who's lended me money before. He always runs my credit and checks my savings account to make sure that I am upholding a financially savvy practices. That's what he calls it. Financially savvy practices by keeping my score above a 650 and keeping at least $25,000 in my savings. So it will behoove you. I urge you, if you're in the business right now doing no money down, no credit strategies, that's great. That's awesome. But it will benefit you greatly, if you take some time, take some money and invest in your credit score. Okay, here's going to be a couple ways that you can invest in your credit score so you can improve it. Go from a 600 to a 650 or a 650 to a 700, so that way you can start increasing your average deal size. Is number one is you need to take the credit that you currently have, those credit cards that you currently have, and you need to get them under 10% utilization. Utilization simply means that if you have a $1,000, Capital One credit card and your current balance is at $900, right now you're at 90% utilization. That's a high utilization. Typically, the bureaus like TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian want to see you less than 35, but the best top tier credit scores have less than 10% utilization. So you want to do your best to eat that down, chop that down. By the Dave Ramsey aspect of it, it will bring you more joy if you start with the lowest balances first and work your way up to the highest balances to get those utilizations down. Secondly, you want to increase those amounts available to you. So the people that you're already doing business with, okay, the credit cards that you already have open, simply go to them after you make a big payment. So let's say that Capital One card you got, it's got a $1,000 balance available, credit line. You have a $900 balance. Let's say you make a payment of $500 on that credit card. Right after you make that payment and then process it, you want to give them a call and ask to increase your limit. When they ask the reasons why, let them know you're trying to be more financially responsible. Don't say, hey, well, I want more money so I can go out and spend more money. No, let them know you're trying to be more responsible, and you're trying to build out your credit profile. Okay. And that makes you look like a credit worthy person. When you do that, it will naturally overall increase your availability and decrease your utilization. You'll be surprised if you have 2 or 3 cars, how you can increase, your available credit a couple thousand, which will help your utilization at the end of the day, increasing your credit score. Number 3 is you could always go and add yourself as an authorized user on other people's cards. So me and my wife, when we're in the middle, and we still do it today, when we're trying to increase our credit score, if she gets approved for a card that I can't get approved for, she'll get approved for it, and then I'll add myself as an authorized user on it, and I'll do the same thing for her. So utilize your relationships around you. Maybe as a significant other or spouse, or maybe it's a cousin or your mom or your parents. One thing that my parents did for me is when I was 16, they added me on to their Sam's Club credit card and to their Home Depot credit card because it had the highest available balance and the lowest utilization. So instantly, by the time I went to college at A&T, I already had a 720 credit score. So you can set your kids up for this as well. And you can also use this to repair and maintain and improve your credit score as time goes on. Lastly, is settle some of those collected debts. Now, I know the collection agencies, a lot of you guys don't want to pay those off because those debtors have already sold the debt to the collectors. Yes, but if it's reporting, then you need to get it off of your credit report. Have I seen people dispute those collections and get them off? Yes. But realistically, for me, I haven't been able to do that. What I've done is go to those collectors and say, hey, let's settle. You right now is in collections for $2,000. What I got right now is $500, brother. Send me over a settlement for $500. I'll pay, saying that you're going to clear my debt for $500, even though I owe you $2,000. I need you to say that you're going to settle it for $500 and also that you're going to remove it from my credit score. Once they send that to me via email, I send over the $500. It's taken away from the credit. It's settled. Now it's removed from your credit score. So you instantly get a bump. Now, there are several other things and several other creative strategies that you can use, to increase and maintain your credit. And to find out more about that, simply subscribe to the channel. And if you go ahead and like and subscribe, you'll find more videos like this that'll pop up in your feed. So that way you guys can learn how to use your personal credit to get business credit. So that way you guys can use real estate investing to get equity and monthly cash flow. So that way you can replace your 9-to-5 income. Look, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.